Sri Gurubhyo Namaha children, you are welcome for an online class. We are going to see third unit poem Killing on a Tree by Kivi Patel. See, first we will go for a gist and then go for the poem. On Killing a Tree, written by Kivi Patel, literally describes the difficulty of cutting down a tree. On another level, the poet writes about nature and the sturdiness and longevity of the tree. Only man would want to fell the tree. See, the tree is not harmful as if you are taking the example of a tree, it gives all us things what all is needed for a human being. For example, you can get fruits, vegetables, leaves and what all stem and root of it. And not only that, you will be taking everything, what is that we call the oxygen supply from there. So, we will give carbon dioxide which is not needed for us outside, and it will be taken by the trees, and it will be just in return it is giving oxygen supply which is needed for us. So, here the poet says that it is a harmless to a human being and very useful to us, but we human being not even think of them and will cut and will kill it, and that killing act he says as a murder. So, here in this poem he explains very clearly to everybody that what we are doing as a human being. So, because killing the tree, it is an act that we are killing only the tree? No, we are killing the whole nature, and because of nature is lost, we are having all disasters. So, he says that when there is a loss in the nature, there is a disaster in the world. So, we ourselves creating this, and he clearly explains in this poem. The third person narration in this poem describes the tree graphically, comparing the bark to a lip. So, he is comparing the bark to the lip, how the in a skin of a human being you will be having leprous, like that you will be having in the skin of the tree also. And because it is lived for so long, the tree has deep roots which enable it to the recover for attack by axe. The attitude of a human being is very clearly explained here, and the poem is very clear that trees are not doing any harm to the human being, only human being are doing harms to it. And the poet taken the great thing as very clearly that it is a harm for the human being and it is a harm for the whole world. So, because of the cutting the tree, the global action and all deforestations and its result, you know what it is, increase in the temperature and so many things is taking place, and that had been very clearly explained by the poet in this poem. To kill a tree or anything else, the art of the thing has destroyed, the root of has to cut away from the earth that holds it down. How is that done? So, see, you know that even if you cut a branch or a bark of a tree, it will be painful for the tree, but it can grow again. But the action of a human being, you see, it had rooted from the earth. They have cut down the root from the earth, the connection between the earth, mother earth and the tree had been taken place, and as a poet he feels it is an action of a murder, and how many trees we are murdering. So, he explains very clearly the tree has life and it had been living more than a human being, and that had been rooted and taken away, and because of that there is a lot of distractions. So, we will go by each and every stanza, children. It is clear to you, we will go by each stanza and a line, because it is very important for you for the alliteration and figure of speech and each line for your examination. Okay, before you some questions. What is deforestation? Will you answer to me, what is deforestation? Why trees are important for our survival? How long does it take a tree to grow its full size? How much time does it take to cut down a tree? So, here it is, so many things. What is a deforestation? What is deforestation? Cutting a tree is, yes, I am hearing somebody is answering, cutting a tree is called as deforestation. Why trees are important for our survival? So, here we are leaving carbon dioxide and tree is giving oxygen supply. So here it takes our carbon dioxide and giving the oxygen supply to us. So it is very important. So then what is the thing? It gives food and even stem and root of the tree. Each part of the trees we are using, and we are so in gratitude to the trees. We are not giving anything written for it, but at the same time we are not thinking that we must not cut it. When we want to build a big house, we will be cutting so many trees. We want to make an apartment, we will be cutting so many trees. We are not bothered about the coming generation and our own generation. It will be affected when trees are cut. How long does it take a tree to grow its full size? Suppose if you are putting a seed, you just imagine how long it will take time for us to grow a tree. So when you are putting a seed, you will not get in one day. It will take so many years to have, and you will be having so many fruitful, and that fruit will be used by you, not the next day. When you put a seed, you have to pour water and you have to wait for some days to grow a tree. So it full-fledged growing tree, it comes, it will be written till it is alive, it will be giving fruits for you and what all needed from the tree. Even the life of the tree is yours. If you are willing to get, you can get it. Next, how much time does it take to cut down a tree? So it takes many years to grow a tree, a big one, but it takes few hours to cut a tree. You can have nowadays the latest machines and mechanical items are there to cut the tree very easily. So within 5 minutes, if you see, a tree will be just falling down. So that was the situation now. So it takes many years to grow, but it kills. 1 second is enough. If we are using any technology, then you can use to cut it in a second or in an hour. So here it shows that it takes many years to grow, and it had been taken away in few minutes or seconds or hours. So it has been very clearly explained here in this poem. Okay. Are trees a boon or ban to us? So I can say it is a boon to us. Why it is a boon to us? The cloud bearing rain blow away, because there are no trees to attract them. Oxygen, which is precious for human life, becomes scarce. The rainwater, which is excess, sometimes can cause floods, which are followed by droughts. So 3 ways trees are useful. It gives oxygen for human being, and not only that, the cloud bearing and away, because rain blow, because when the clouds are going, the oxygen supply in the tree just goes and attracts, and we are getting rain. Because of its attraction, we are getting rain. And if we are getting because of the tree more rain, then also flood is followed by it, and later drought. So without a tree, it is very difficult for human beings to live. Okay, about the poet, Dr. Givi Patil is one of the prominent Indian poet. His famous works include Evening, Foreign Science Medicine, and From Bombay Central. He has also penned 3 plays. He has been conducting a poetry workshop in Rishi Valley School for more than a decade. This poem is taken from his poetry collection, Poems, published in 1966. Children, here this poet is a doctor, and he knows the value of life, how he is helping the life to survive in the world, and he really feels for the tree also, as tree also has a life, and we people are cutting and killing it and murdering, and it is equal to murder, he says very clearly in the poem. Actually it starts about cutting the tree, but actually he is not want that to be happen. So that was the thing here. It is very clear to you. Okay, we'll go for the next. So on killing a tree, it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown, slowly consuming the earth, rising of it, feeding upon its crust, observing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, spotting leaves. So here you can see in the picture a small life cycle of a tree I have given. So here first you have a apple, a fruit, and you eat that fruit, and a small seed inside if you throw, you will be getting a seedling, a small little plant. And years after you can have a tree, and then from the tree you will have a flower. from the flowers you will get the fruit, and from the fruit you will get the seed. Suppose if you cut the tree, then this cycle will be stopped. So it is clear, children, and the poet explains in this poem very clearly that how the tree grows, how long it takes. So he explains it. It takes much time to kill a tree. So he is asking here, it takes much time to kill a tree. No, it will not take much time to kill a tree, but to grow a tree takes much time. See the way, the starting line itself, children, in what way he had given. So he is not interested in killing the tree. He says that it is an action of a murder. In a simple poem he tells, it takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab. Jab here means small knife. So if you take a knife, you can cut a tree? No, you need big instruments and cut the tree. So he says it takes much time to kill a tree if you take a jab. Not a simple jab of the knife. If you take a simple jab, jab is nothing but a knife, a tool used to cut. If you take that, it is not possible. And if you take a big saw or something electrical or equipments, you can cut it very easily. We'll do it. It has grown. So when it is small, you can kill it very simply. But if it grows as a tree, to cut it takes time. At the same time, growing also takes more time than killing it. So he talks about it here. Slowly consuming the earth. What do you mean by consuming? Taking food from the earth. So it takes minerals and other things from the earth, Mother Earth. Raising out of it. First when you put a seed, it will consume so many days something from the minerals, water, other things from the ground, Mother Earth. And then it will be just sending the root inside, and then a small spout will be coming out. And day by day it will be growing, and one day, final day, you will be seeing a big grown up tree. Raising out of it, feeding. It is feeding food in the earth upon its crust. So what all available in the earth crust it is taking as, consuming as its food. Absorbing, so it is absorbing the water from the earth, minerals from the earth, years of sunlight, it takes years of sunlight to grow, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, so it has a big bark, a stem which is having a big bark, till it grows like that as the white patches inside the root stem. When you just remove the bark, bark here, the upper part of the tree in the stem. When you remove it, you can see the white patches like a leprous, how we are human being having a leprous in a white skin. So he is talking about the skin. He is a doctor, so he is dealing with this technological and technical and the doctrine language, so we have to understand it. So here he says that when a skin is having a problem, we call leper. The same way the hide leper is inside the tree, and the stem will be covered with the brown color barks. Inside white color patches will be there, and he is talking about it. Sprouting leaves, with that he is sprouting the leaves. Children, it is very clear in this stanza he is just explaining you how difficult a tree grows, just getting all, that we'll say air, water and other things, or 5 environmental things, sources we need. And we'll say in Tamil Panchabhudangal. So it takes all those 5 things and it grows, and it is very clear at last it is put in the fire. So next stanza will go for on killing a tree. So axe can chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs which is unchecked will expand again to the former size. So the second stanza tells you, so axe can chop. Axe means cutting the tree. Chop means chopping it. But this alone won't do it. So suppose if you're cutting and chopping, this will, okay, even with that it will be just growing. If cut and chop and axe can do it, it again will grow. But if you root it from the down, so in the last stanza or before stanza it tells very clearly, so here, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. If you're cutting and hacking and chopping, it will not give a pain for it. It can grow again. the bleeding bark will heal. So the bleeding, so how when you cut a human being, it will be bleeding like that. Even trees have that bleed. The doctor talks about very clearly the words how a human being is cut. The same way when you cut a tree, it also will have a bleeding. When you cut a bark, it will be having a bleeding, he says. So it considered tree as one of the human being. So it is a personification here. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. So it talks about bleeding, about a human quality. So it is considered as a quality of a human, so it is called as personification. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. So from the ground it will be close. It was just having a close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. From the earth it will be having, again it will be having, where it got hurt, it will be getting a, from the earth, mother earth, it will be getting the, again the green color thing, and it will be just growing. Will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, it will be having many small branches, which is unchecked will expand again. Till it is expanded, it is growing big, you will be not noticing it. As soon as it grows, you will be cutting it. To form a size, when it is in small size, you will not notice it. But if it becomes a big one, you will be noticing it and you will be hurting it. So the doctor says very clearly, when you cut a human being, you will be bleeding. The same way, trees also has life, and if you are doing it to it, it will be a harm for it. We will go for the next, children. No, the root is to be pulled out. So here the human being are not left with chopping and hacking it. They want to pull it out from the root. No, the root is to be pulled out. One of the anchoring earth, it is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out or pulled out entirely. Out from the earth cave and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. So for a long years it had been inside the earth, and it must be now given a damage to the root. From the down root, they have to dug and cut all the roots, and they have to pull it out. See what we are doing to the tree, grown up tree. No, the root is to be pulled out, one of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied. It must be roped and tied very tightly and pulled out. It must be pulled out, snapped out. It must be cut from the ground of the earth or pulled out entirely. So even roots must not be allowed inside. Out from the earth cave. So you will be having earth cave. What is the earth cave? Underground, when you dig something, you will have a cave. So the root had went inside very deep, and when it is removed, he is saying that you have been taking it from the earth cave. And the strength of the tree exposed. So the strength is exposed, how strong the root is going inside, that much strong strength from the earth it is getting, and the tree is so strong. So it is very less, root is gone, then it is not that much. When it is deep inside the earth, then it has so strength, and nobody can cut and fell it down. The source white and wet. The source, when you cut a human being, you will get a black color red color blood, and here it is getting a white color blood. So the source white and wet, it is white and wet. The most sensitive, it is very sensitive issue, hidden for years inside the earth. The root had been inside the earth for long years, and you are not even thinking of it, and now you want to cut it and remove it from the earth. So this was the thing the poet is saying, and he is not happy in doing this. So here you have irregular, so out and out you are having. So here you are having irregular, not regular rhyming scheme, you are having irregular rhyming scheme in this poem. So because it had been an expression of a poet, and he is giving it to you as a monologue, and that had been very clearly told. So here it is having an irregular rhyming scheme. Then the matter of scorching and scorching in sun and air, browning and hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. It is done, he is saying, after all the chopping, hacking, and just tying out and snorting out, pulling out, and then the matter means of scorching. After killing it, you will be drying the thing and choking it, and you will be choking small pieces in the sun and air. You will be just cutting, and you just put in before the sun, in front of the sun, and you air. It will be just made and dried, and you will be making use of it. Browning, hardening, it will become browning and hardening, so you will be using for fire and other purpose. You are twisting and withering the tree and root, and then it is done. It is done means you have killed the tree. So indirectly he says that you must not kill the tree, and he feels so sad for killing a tree. And as a doctor, he is a doctor practicing in Bombay, he feels that you are doing an injustice to a tree. Not if you are killing a human being, that only you think that it is a killing. Even if you kill a tree, it is also a illegal thing, and you must not do that. It is wrong, and he is motivating that we must not kill, and deforestation must not take place. As a good environmentalist, he is just talking that and feeling for the tree. And not only for the tree, when a tree is cut and removed, there is lot of problems. It says so and feels for the thing, for cutting the tree and felling the tree. So you enjoy the thing, and what is the moral you learn from this lesson is, you must not cut the tree, and even if you cutting, you have to go and tell to the person it is so important, must not do, and you start growing trees, and you learn the importance of the tree. At least by you a tree must be grown. So try to plant so many trees, make the nature a nature, so that we will be not having disaster. Thank you children, we will end the class. So here the moral is, save a tree, get rain, save a tree, get oxygen for free. So if you are just growing a tree, you will get free oxygen. So thank you children, we will end up the class.